everybody, my name is Mariam Zarei, and today I'm going to teach you the passive voice in English. For Birmingham level, it's your Empower book B1 Plus, Unit 9. Okay, so as you all know, all the sentences in English are formed by subject, verb, and object. What is the subject? Subject is a person or thing that we are talking about, or who's doing the action, who's performing the action. And the verb is the action itself, and we have object. What is an object? Object is a thing or a subject, again, that the action, which is the verb, is done upon. So, subject is the doer, object is the receiver. In an active voice, normally we have active voice and passive voice. What is an active voice? The active voice is the subject of a sentence, that is the person or thing we talk about. So, when the subject does something, we use active voice. So, in active sentences, the subject is the doer of that sentence, of that verb. So, the subject is the most important thing in the sentence. For example, look at this sentence. People sell good luck flowers. As you know, people is the subject, the doer. Sell is the active verb. It can be in different tenses, as you know. And good luck flowers is the object, receiver of the action. Okay. But in the passive voice, the doer is like normally the receiver of the sentence, like the object is more important. In the passive voice, the person who did the action is not important. We don't care about that. The thing we care about, or we put emphasis on, is the receiver of the action, or the like the action that has happened. So it is used when the subject is not the doer of an action. We put the receiver of an action as the subject. We put the doer of an action as the object. So they work like interchangeably. As you see, good luck flowers are sold by people. This is an example of a passive voice, which we're going to talk about, like how we form it, how we form our sentences into passive voice. So here, good luck flowers is the subject, which is the receiver of an action. It's not the doer, just the receiver, that receiver of the sentence. Are sold by people. Are sold is the passive verb. And by people here is object. Did you see? The subject and the object are replaced by each other. Subject, as like in the previous sentence, the object is the subject of a passive sentence. So, how do we form passive sentences? First of all, in passive sentences, we always have to be verb in all the tenses, and it is plus past participle of the main verb. For example, I have 3 examples here in different kinds of tense. For example, the first one is the present tense. The tourist was arrested early this morning. The tourist was arrested early this morning. Was is the verb to be in past. Arrested is the past participle. So, when you see was, it is the past tense. The next one. Toyota cars are made in Japan. This one, when you see are plus past participate of make, this one is present tense. And the next one, a new class representative will be chosen on Monday. This is future because of will. Plus be verb and past participle of choose. These examples show that a passive sentence can be in whatever tense you like. The tense of the verb to be changes to give different tenses into passive. So look at this picture. Now you're going to see how you can form an active sentence to a passive sentence. Change the object from the active sentence into subject. My father washes the car every day. This is an active sentence. My father is the subject, washes is the verb, and the car is object. The car is receiving an action, which is like washing. Okay. Now, the thing we should do here is to identify the object and put it in the beginning of the sentence as a subject. The car. Okay. And now, if you pay attention to the verb, our verb is washes. Washes is present simple, so it is present tense. In to be, for passive voice, for present tenses, we always use am, is, are. Was and were are for the past tense. Okay. So here washes, because we have washes and it is present simple, so we should use present tense. And because the car is singular, so is. Then washes, we have is, as we talked. So what is the past participle of wash? Wash, washed, washed. The past participle is washed. So the sentence will be, the car is washed early every day by my father. By my father is like, if you want it, you can put it in the sentence. If you don't, if it's not important, so just leave it. It's not that important. So look at this table. The form of passive voice, it is formed by be plus past participle. The verb collect. The passive form of collect is collected or are collected. It depends on the subject, of course, as you guys know. Perform. Is performed or are performed. Again, decorate. Is decorated or are decorated. And so on. But in continuous tenses. So we talked about using to be verbs plus past participate. What if the tense is continuous? Look at the table. I am doing it. How do you change this? So it is be done. This is what we talked about. But when it is continuous, you have to add ing to be verb. So it should be, you have to add be after is plus ing. So it is being done. Is being done. I was doing it. I was being done. I was being done. You have to pay attention to the verb and the tenses that you have in order to choose present, past, or future tenses. And remember, being plus past participle for continuous tenses. I will be doing it. I will be being done. See what happened? I will be, instead of I would be, I will be being done again. Because that, the first be is for the sentence like I would be. Then for passive voice, you have to add another being and then past participle. I have been doing it. It has been being done. it has been being done. You have to pay attention that you shouldn't change the tense of the sentence. You always have to keep the tense of the sentence as it is. You just need to make it passive. I had been doing it. I had been being done. I will have been doing it. It will have been being done. And the rest. I know the last ones were so hard for you. I know that you don't know some of those tenses, but I wanted this to be like perfect for you. If you needed, like, you could just go and open it and see what you should use, like, to know the format. So let's go to the next one. What about modal verbs? For modal verbs, look at this. I can do it. So I is subject, can do is modal verb, and the action, of course. It is our object. So we have to start our sentence with the object, which will be our passive sentence's subject. It can be done. It's again be plus past participle. It can be done, but you have to put the modal verbs in your passive sentences also. I could do it. It could be done. See, the tense is the same. Could. Just the subject and the object should change. I must do it. It must be done. I may do it. It may be done. I should do it. It should be done. As for the rest of them, which are the same. So let's practice. Look at this sentence. People eat mooncakes at mid-autumn festivals. Can you change this active sentence to a passive voice for me? Okay, I'm sure that you guys can do it immediately. People here is our subject, of course. It's the person or thing that is doing the action. It is our action or our verb. Mooncakes is the object, the receiver of an action. Eating is about mooncakes. So the object will come to the beginning of the sentence. Mooncakes are eaten. It is present tense, right? So to be verbs plus past participle, which will be mooncakes are eaten by people, which is optional, at Mid-Autumn Festival. Next one. People sweep graves with brooms at Qingming Festival. Again, people here is our subject, sweep our verb, graves our object, the receiver, that the action is being done upon it. So the object should be the subject of our passive sentence. So graves are swept with brooms by people at Qingming Festival. Again, this one was the present tense, and graves is plural. So graves are swept with brooms by people at Qingming Festival. People light lanterns at Mid-Autumn festivals. Lanterns are lit by people at Mid-Autumn festivals. Again, the most important thing for you to do is to take the object and put it at the beginning of your passive sentence. Start your sentence with the object. So the object will be the subject of your passive voice. Okay, now let's review the verb to be. For the present simple tense, we use am, is, are plus past participle. For present continuous tense, am is are plus being plus past participle. For present perfect, have been or has been plus past participle. The past simple tense, was or were plus past participle. The past continuous tense, was or were plus being plus past participle. The past perfect tense, had been plus past participle. The future tense, will be plus past participle. And with modal, verb with modals, can be, would be, should be, maybe, must be, and the other ones plus past participle. Okay, now look at this picture. What is the difference between these two sentences? For example, the active voice is, the mouse ate the cat. And the passive voice, the mouse was eaten by the cat. So, did you understand the differences? In the active voice, when you say the mouse ate the cat, it means that small mouse ate the cat. Like the cat was eaten by the mouse. How is it possible? But in the passive voice, the mouse was eaten by the cat. Did you see? So here it means that the cat ate the mouse. And you have to pay attention to the subject and the object of your sentences in order to avoid misunderstanding. When do we use passive voice? The passive voice is more common in written than spoken. It is more formal and impersonal, and for that reason is often used in reports of crimes or legal procedure. For example, like he was sentenced to 2 years in prison. Newspaper reports, scientific writing, announcements, and notices. So it sounds formal and impersonal. Another use. For example, in everyday situations, we always use it when we don't care, like who performed the action. In other words, the passive is used when we are more interested in what happened to a thing or a person, more than who did it. And it is unusual to mention the actual doer in a passive sentences, but sometimes we, mention the doer by using the word by. For example, Great Expectations was written by Charles Dickens. Star Wars was directed by George Lucas. See? When you want to add the doer, you have to use by. Let's practice. I want you guys to put the verbs in brackets into the correct passive form. You have 2 minutes to do it. Okay, so let's go through the sentences together. Shampoo is tested on animals before it is sold in shops. This is a passive voice, right? So you cannot see any clues about past tense or future tense. So this is like from the meaning also you can understand that this is this is happening in the present. So to be verb plus past participle, which is tested, is sold. Next one. This house was built in the 9th century. So, Was built. It's in the past. Look at the century. It's not now. To be verb in the past plus past participle. 2 missing children have been found safe and well. Have been plus past participle. A new bridge will be constructed next year. You see next year, so it is the future tense. Will be plus past participle. Okay. Now, passive voice, active to passive voice, like we're gonna talk about the steps again for you as a review. For example, this is an active sentence. The postman delivers the letters at 9. First, identify the object of the active sentence and place it at the beginning of the passive sentence. So, what is the object? The letters. So, the letters will come at the beginning of the sentence. Step 2, identify the tense of the active verb and put the verb to be into the same sentence. Which one is the tense of the verb? How can you do that? How can you find out what is the tense? As you can see, our verb is deliver. Here it is delivers. It is simple. This is present simple. In that case, you have to use am, is, are. So, the letters is plural, so it should be are. Step 3. Turn the main active verb into the past participle form. Your main active verb is delivers, so it should be changed to past participle, which is delivered. The letters are delivered at 9. This is the passive form. Did you see how easy it was? You just need to first identify the object and place it at the beginning of the sentence, then identify the tense, and then you have to change your main verb to past participle. That's it. Then you can form your passive voice. Okay, another example for you, another exercise for you. Let's change these active sentences to passive form. Okay, let's go through it again. The police arrested the suspect late last night. So, first of all, you have to identify the object. The suspect is your object, which is the thing which the action is acted upon. The tense of the verb is, first of all, you can see arrested. Arrested is the verb to, past form of arrest. And also you can see your adverb of time, which is last night. So it is the past form, past tense. The to be form of past tenses in passive voice was and were, plus past participle, right? The suspect was arrested late last night. They found him after an intensive search. They found him after an intensive search. Him is our object. They is subject. Found is your action or the main verb. This is the past form again. So we will put our object in the beginning of the sentence. he. To be verb in past is was or verb. So as we have he, it should be was. He was found after an intensive search. 2 detectives questioned him and charged him with murder. Him is our object. Our main verb is questioned, and 2 detectives is our subject. We have to start our sentence by the object. He was questioned, because it is the past tense again. Was or verb plus past participle. He was questioned and charged with murder by 2 detectives. They will take him to court later today. This is future tense. Him is our object, so it should be at the beginning of the sentence as the subject. So he will be, I told you we have will be plus past participle. He will be taken to court later today. Okay, this is our summary again about this course for you. As you can see, in inactive sentences, the subject always precedes the action. The subject always does the action. And in a passive sentence, the object becomes the subject. For example, the one that is acted upon. The predicate verb consists of the verb to be and the past participle of the main verb. So always to be verb plus past participle of our main verb. And then if it is necessary, you can use by to say who or what is responsible for that specific action. It is often used when we do not know or don't care who performs the action. Okay, use of the passive. Why do we use it? We use it when we are not interested in who or what causes something to happen. Mostly we use it for formal notices and announcements. Okay, that was our lesson today, the passive voice. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for listening. Bye bye.